Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your weekly general taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for all of us. These are the general energies, trends and themes that we're likely to experience over the course of the week ahead. So this week, obviously every week when I do these, I go into my intuition and I ask for an intuitive message. Sometimes it's a thought, an impression, a feeling. Sometimes it will be a color, and I translate this into a word or a phrase or whatever the case might be. And so this week, the intuitive message, in fact, before I start, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So this week, when I went into my intuition, what I actually saw was it wasn't really a movie as such. It was more like a feeling. And the words that I got from this were a moment of embodiment. So this week, you are going to feel your body and your soul realign in some way, shape or form. There is going to be a moment over the course of this week where you really do come back into balance or alignment with yourself, where you find yourself sort of reconnecting to who you are. And what I saw in my mind was a person or a figure, and it was like their soul or their anum kind of came back into their body, and it was like, okay, so this week there's going to be a moment of pure embodiment. There's going to be a moment at which you feel like, okay, and I'm back in the room. Even with all of the crazy astrology and stuff that's coming up this month, I actually think that this is going to be a really powerful moment where we are all in some way, shape or form very present within and of ourselves, and you can't really ask for much more than that, right? Okay, so for our key, or should I say our destiny energy for the week, and that card seems to want out, so we'll go with that. It's the Gate 56 and Storyteller. So the message behind this card is not about weaving stories, although that is a part of it, but it is actually about the stories and the experiences that you've collected over a lifetime being relevant to you in some way, shape or form now. This is about, the more we live, the more lives we touch, the more we connect with people, the more experience we have to draw from. The more people that we connect with, the more people that we meet, the more stories that we gather. And at any given moment, we have access to that, right, from our memory. And sometimes the stories that we hear, not necessarily the stories that we live, sometimes the stories that we hear are the ones that really make a difference in our lives or in somebody else's. I've had this happen so many times when doing client work, right? Where they will say something and I'm kind of like, aha, this reminds me of. And then suddenly the words that I'm using or the story that I'm relaying become very relevant for that person and their moment in time. Sometimes we are the mouthpiece of the universe. Sometimes, that's how I kind of see myself, right? A lot of the time when you see me kind of step out when I'm doing my readings and I'm looking out there, this is, my students know this, we talk about it a lot. This is me sort of grabbing that sort of ribbon of consciousness, right, and connecting, and it's kind of like you disappear and the messages and the words kind of just flow through you. Those are wonderful experiences, and if we are all storytellers of our own personal myth, remember, you have a chance to rewrite it, and I'm a big advocate of this. I believe that every single moment of every single day is a chance to change your life for the better. All right, so hold on to that, and also remember that the stories that you've gathered, the stories that you've gained, the stories that you are a part of, the story that is being rewritten that is you every single moment of every single day, is something that can absolutely help the world in some regard. For our insight cards, we've got the Page of Pentacles. Wow, okay, we've got the King of Pentacles, and we've got the Four of Swords. So it looks like a lot of you this week are reaching or looking for some kind of advancement on the material plane, right? So the Page of Pentacles, there is an inkling this week that you find, or at least through this embodiment, right? And Taurus, is the sign that actually, the King of Pentacles, if we were to boil it down to a sign in the zodiac, it actually represents Taurus, right? And Taurus is said to be the sign of embodiment. You've got this with the Page of Pentacles, which is really about finding your purpose. There is a moment of embodiment this week that leads you to what your next purpose is. Now, if you've been with me long enough, you know what I'm about to say. If you're new to my channel, this might be a little bit of a revelation for you, darling. You will have multiple purposes over the course of a lifetime, right? It's not just a case of, oh, you know, I did this when I was 20 and that's it. Now that that's done, you know, scrap heap of life. Or, oh, well, I'm 35 and I haven't found it yet, so I guess I'm too old for it. That's bollocks. It's so much rubbish, right? The truth of the matter is the media and the mainstream, it's done a really, really good job of convincing us that if you haven't found your purpose, then you are useless. You're going to have multiple purposes over a lifetime. You're going to be a friend. You're going to be a sibling if you are so lucky. You're going to be a parent if you are so lucky. You're going to be a colleague. You're going to be a worker. You're going to be a business owner. You're going to be the mouthpiece for the universe. You are going to be a writer. You're going to be a lover and a friend, and so many more things beyond just finding your work purpose, right? You're going to have multiple purposes over a lifetime, and sometimes the purpose that you serve is the word that you speak to a stranger on a journey that just absolutely either makes their day, changes their life, or stops them from feeling some kind of despair. I've had many experiences like this where I've had someone come up to me and just kind of drop some knowledge and then disappear. I never see them again, and I'm like, wow, right? I know I have been that person for many people. There have been so many times where I'm like, universe, God, whatever you want to call it, I can't say this to that person. And they're like, we are going to keep telling you until you get it done, boy. And I'm like, okay, fine. And then, you know, I'll say what I need to say and I'll leave it at that. I don't need to stop for them to say like, oh, that was amazing, it was so accurate, or whatever the case might be. My point is, you're going to have multiple purposes over a lifetime. And the moment of embodiment that you experience this week is going to lead you to your purpose. And with the Four of Wands, coupled with all of this energy, there is a moment this week at which you get to celebrate. There is a moment at which life makes sense. There is a moment at which where you connect with not just yourself, but the cosmos. There's a moment at which you connect with all that is to say, I finally understand just why the fuck it is I am here. All right. What a beautiful sentiment, and what an amazing sort of experience to have. This, I actually think, on the wider world stage, this will be some good news within the banking sector, probably around interest rates. I could be wrong about that, but who knows? I also think that this will have a lot to do with the educational system and some form of advancement there. There's a few other things that I want to say about construction as well. I think that we're going to see some movement in that sector in a way that really makes people sort of very happy. Love this, right? Okay, so for our insight cards, if we could see around corners, which, you know, with all of these weird and wonderful, mystical and magical spiritual sciences, as I like to call them, we can, right? That's the beauty of all of these tools. We can see round corners. We have the Two of Swords, okay, with the Five of Wands, all right, and the Five of Cups. So first things first, anyone that tries to wreck your peace is not worth your time. All right, I'm just going to tell you that straight up. It can be a really hard experience to have to cut somebody off because they are determined to ruin whatever goodness you have in your life. Those are not your people. 2 5s represents a vigil, right? And because you've got this with the Two of Swords, this may be someone that is crying out for justice when the truth of the matter is they perpetrated a lot of the shit that they're dealing with right now themselves. So this week you have to really hold to your guns. You've got all of this beauty happening. You've got all of this wonderful energy coming through, the stories, the things that are being told. There are moments of happiness, moments of laughter, true moments of embodiment and understanding where you're going. And yet There's somebody that wants to piss all over the fireworks, right? They want to hold on to their injustice. They want to hold on to whatever experience they've had that doesn't fit in with their fantasy. If you watch RuPaul's Drag Race, you know that there's their jantasy, right? Like, or I think it was Valentina. She was like, "This doesn't fit in with my fantasy." I was like, "Oh my God, honey, you need help." Right? There is someone that is determined to spoil the pot. And my advice to you would be, don't let them. All right? There's always going to be someone that has a bonnet, you know, bee in their bonnet or a bone to pick or whatever the case might be. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of whatever this person is facing is of their own making, and rather than turn that inward and fix it there where the problem originated, they're holding a vigil for the injustice that they feel that they have suffered. And I gotta be honest with you, because of the cards that are present, I do feel like this is self-inflicted. All right, a lot of it could have been helped or, you know, shifted or changed or whatever, and they don't seem to be interested. So watch out for that this week, right? Because there's so much good, there's so much beauty that can come out of this, and yet there's still somebody that wants to try and sort of ruin it. On the wider world stage, this, however, I think is slightly different. This will be somebody that has been, when I say somebody, this will be a collective of sorts that has acted like a downright bully and now has been revealed to be so, really can't handle how it makes them look. All right? I won't say any more on that. I will leave it there. With that said, I wish you all an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a wonderful week ahead. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. I love that you guys send me articles and links to things when you say like, Raf, you said this would happen and it's happening on the wider world stage. I love those because I record these in batches. So very often when a video comes out, it's been up for weeks. It's just been waiting or scheduled to go. And so, you know, when you have these weeks ahead, right, and then I get these validations, I'm like, whoa, it's just incredible to me as well. All right, take care. I'll see you soon.